now as coach. How are we doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, coach, as we're having some technical difficulties, so bear with us here at
That's okay.
YSM. We're going to get through it as well you can. As we like to start off with all of our coaches, we know the football team kind of takes away a little bit of players from some time for you, but now that you kind of have some practices, and we would think some full practices now, what's kind of the team looking like going into the season? Who do you think is going to get some big minutes, and who are some of the younger players that you think might have an impact this year?
Yeah, we were about a week behind and so forth. So over the last week, we've improved dramatically each day, getting the football guys back. They're a little banged up and beat up and so forth from a long season, but things are coming together pretty well for us. We always have some guys, some pieces coming back. 4 2-year lettermen, John Nall, Drew Weir, both all league players last year. Brock Young, Caden Rome. Davin Koskinen. Looking for some plays to be made by Ross Davidson, a good-looking sophomore, and some other guys that didn't letter last year but did contribute a little bit of minutes. Cam Jaquette and Dylan Monroy back out. Austin Sinkovich as well. So we got a lot of pieces, and like I said, things are coming together well. It's nice to have them in the gym, though. That's for sure.
As we are getting to pop Anthony in here now, and we got Anthony, so we're kind of getting back on track. Anthony, did you want to ask Coach next question?
You go for now on this.
Okay, we're waiting for him. Okay, Coach, now that we know this status of the team too, we know going into it, this EBC is always going to be tough, especially on the boys' end for basketball. There's no doubt about that. Looking at your conference and looking at what the competition is going to look like, do you think this schedule is going to be favorable, and what is it going to take for this team to get a piece of that EBC crown?
Yeah, I tell you what, it's I think it's going to be a loaded league. I really do. I mean, it was a 3-way tie last year, and there's a lot of good teams coming back. I mean, us, South, and West Branch tied last year for the league title, and all 3 teams are going to be solid again. Alliance is in the mix every year. They're as athletic as anybody. Marlington's going to welcome back their player, Connor Evanich. He was out last year with some injuries, and they got a lot of young kids some time, and it's loaded. I know the YSN area isn't super familiar with the EBC, but you're absolutely right. It's a good basketball conference. We're going to have to play hard each and every night. Every game's a battle. It's hard to win on the road in the league. And, hopefully we just take it one game at a time, and hopefully we give ourselves a chance, and, we'll see how it goes. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very competitive and very interesting.
Coach, no doubt, too, going into this, we always talk about the growth we see from especially sophomore to junior year. It seems like there's a lot of growth there, and especially, too, junior to senior. What kind of growth have you seen from these players over the course of the summer that's really impressed you?
Yeah, I tell you what, last year coming in, we knew we had some players that had some experience as sophomores 2 years ago, and we were looking to take that next step to win some games and battle. Win some games that we were in position to win, and we weren't really ready to do that 2 years ago. And last year, I thought we made some great strides in that regard. And now it's just kind of expecting to win almost. Coming in and having some success last year. Had a lot of guys put a lot of time in, shooting and so forth in the summertime, like you said, which was 2 summers ago. It was a little bit odd the way that things were playing out and so forth. So it was good to get back to a little bit of normalcy, I guess. And we definitely have some guys that put some time in. And as a senior laden team this year, we have 7 seniors on the roster. We're looking to continue that success, keep moving forward, keep climbing and so forth, and hopefully compete.
Coach, if you can hear me, we were like in technical difficulties.
I can hear you.
We all know those Salem Crazies in that gym get really loud and ruckus for you guys, and the community supports Salem basketball so well. How excited are you to kind of get back to letting them in the gym and being able to feed off their energy?
Well, that's the best part of it. I always preach having fun. That's the number one thing that it should be all about, in my opinion. And, it's fun when you have guys behind you, the crazies that are screaming and hooting and hollering, and get the other student section involved too, and chanting back and forth. I mean, that's what basketball is all about. High school basketball. It's an electric atmosphere, and we missed that last year. There's no doubt. We got some high flyers. We've had some some guys that can play above the rim a little bit, and it's certainly fun. But way more fun when you got guys behind you that are screaming and hooting and hollering and so forth. So definitely looking forward to getting back to that a little bit. And I know even the students are as well. There's a little bit of excitement around the even in the hallways here.
We know some coaches like to kind of stick with their game plan. Some coaches like to change it up a little bit year to year. How's this defensive scheme going to look with this team this year and with the athletes that you have?
Yeah, I tell you what, we're going to try to, simulate some of the stuff that we did last year. We want to play fast. We have some guys that we think are pretty good in the open court, get it out and run. We have some great length. We have some athletes, like I said, that are, have the ability to play above the rim, and use their length to force shots and get rebounds and get it out and go. So, I think the less sets and so forth that we have to run, I think the better we're going to be. So really, our goal is to get out and play as fast as possible.
Coach, when you look at what it means to be a Quaker and things that you want to teach your kids outside of basketball, what are some things you hope that the boys take after they graduate from your program, from being a Quaker and from being coached by you?
Well, I tell you what, it's a little cliche, but hard work and commitment and those sort of things. I think all high school athletics teach you that sort of thing. Being on time and schedule and so forth, supporting each other. Picking yourself up, picking each other up when you're down, or like I said earlier, just having fun. These are some great years of these kids' lives, and hopefully they escape here with some memories and that they can look back on and that they're proud of. But just playing hard and representing your community well. Those are things that we hope that to instill in them.
Coach, we know every year no two teams are alike. No two teams are exactly the same either from going into year to year. I know it's early still, but what do you think makes this particular group of Quakers so unique?
Well, I tell you what, our length, our athleticism, I think is pretty unique in terms of, I've been here 23 years and this is one of the most athletic teams I think I've seen. And also the experience that we've had. We were forced, I guess, a couple years ago into playing some sophomores, when maybe they weren't ready to play, but the experience that they gained and the in-game play that they gained during that season is paying off. It paid off last year as juniors, and this year as seniors, we're expecting the same thing. So I think we're unique in that regard. If you look at some of the other teams that are in the league or even in the area, I think that we have some guys that have played more varsity basketball than a lot of other programs.
Coach, when you look at some of the things that you think you can improve on from last year, what are some things that you saw in film from last year's team that you would really want to do better at?
Well, we had some guys that put some time in a weight room. We were a little bit weak in some areas, and they put on some good weight. Again, and just kind of, I guess, being patient in the offense and defending better. I think we have a better understanding of that end of the court. A lot of times when young kids come up, they grab the ball, they want to chuck threes, they want to do all those things and emulate what they see on TV. But it's the little things that really get you, where you need to be or to compete. So I think that they understand that a little bit better. Okay, in terms of the way to defend and checking out and so forth, and the importance of those things. With our length, we like to chart deflections. I think that's one of the most underrated stats out there, and I think that they understand that a little bit, the importance of playing with your hands in the air and so forth. So I think just doing a lot of those things more consistently as they have some experience and as we move on to some of their senior seasons and so forth, we got to be a little bit more consistent in a lot of those with a lot of those small things.
Coach, looking at it, every coach loves to have that kind of on-court leader, and it could be the point guard. Typically, we see it is, but I mean, it could be any player really on the court. So if you were to pinpoint some of your vocal leaders and lead by example players, who would that be?
Like I said, I mentioned Drew Weir and John Null earlier. Drew is a great shooter. He's been a good player for us. He was the county player of the year last year. So he's not real vocal. That's one thing that we really do need to work on and we're searching for is a little bit of a vocal leader. John Null is a guy that's going to play as hard as he can. So again, he leads by example, I guess. The vocal Brock Young's another one that plays as hard as anybody, and he does a lot of good things. So we're kind of searching for that, to be honest with you, in terms of a vocal leader. We have a couple of young guys that are actually stepping up to the plate a little bit. Ross Davidson's doing a good job of being vocal, and John is coming out of his shell a little bit and being a little bit more vocal and in helping the younger kids and other players see things that we can improve on. So that is one thing that we are looking for and working on currently.
Coach, before we let you go, we know that the head coaches get all the limelight, they get all the interviews, but we'd like to let you highlight your coaching staff and the people that kind of make Salem basketball what it is, and the people that you couldn't do this job without.
Yeah, I feel we got a pretty good staff here, really. George Spack, everybody in the area knows Coach Spack. I played for him back in the 90s. He was a head coach here. He helps out with the boys and the girls program. He's just fantastic. He's been around the game longer than most of us have been alive. He's a staple of the program, so he's fantastic to have around. Matt Mowry is the JV coach. He spent some time at United, but he's been here too. Glad to get him in the building this year. He's actually teaching here at the high school for the first year, so it's good to have him around. And we also brought on Vince Natoli, who was the head of the girls program for a few years. And it's interesting to have him because Coach Mowry and Coach Spack and myself have been together. We've worked together for several years now. And having Vince on and just, having his perspective, I guess, some of the things that maybe we overlooked or just, him seeing things in from a different angle has been pretty helpful, I think.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us and kind of give us a preview of the Salem boys team, as we look forward to covering the Quakers, as we know our owner will probably be in that gym real soon.
Hey, thanks guys a lot for having us on, and we appreciate the coverage. You do a great job of promoting the athletes in the area. So keep it up. Well done.
All right. Thank you, Coach. We'll be talking to you.
Yes, sir.